Finally, a thaw in this god-awful weather. We got off the mountain and rode east into some pretty enough country called the Heartlands. Ain't been this far east in many a year. Hosea seems to know the country a little. Ain't been much of a spring. Now holed up at a place called Horseshoe Overlook, outside of some dumpy little cattle town, name of Valentine. Dutch seems a little better. His eyes are sparkling once more, and I can see he's thinking a little clearer. I think we all feel a little happier, in spite of Blackwater and that whole mess. Headed into Valentine with Uncle and the girls. Girls went scouting out work while Uncle and I had a few drinks, and he explained more of his theories on existence and barefaced lies about his past. Things took a strange turn. Some fella seemed to recognise me, or us, from Blackwater. Guess we had been holed up there too long while Hosea and I scouted the job that never was. I chased the bastard, and he nearly fell off a cliff. I spared him, and he gave me an ink pen. I hope I won't regret my leniency, but I reckon he got the scare of his life. Jimmy Brooks was his name. Met some old drunk in Valentine. Claimed he was a shootist. Seemed more like a clown. Some poor fool was writing a book about him, or trying to. Levin was the name of the writer. Jim Calloway was the killer. Apparently Levin needs more information. Asked me to find a few folk who have spent more time in publicity than me, and knew old Jim back when he was a real killer. Their names are Emmett Granger, Flaco Hernandez, Billy Midnight, and Black Bell. Sounds like a troupe of clowns. We shall see what kinds of people those who want to be famous murderers is. My hopes are not too high. Took a day off and went off hunting with Hosea. He really seems to be getting his strength back a bunch, although he was lucky not to die, as this big bear he'd been after turned on us. I thought when we were stuck up in the mountains that the cold and the misery would kill him, and we'd bury him like we buried Jenny and Davy. But he pulled through, and he'll live a while yet. I love Dutch like a father, but in many ways, I love Hosea even more. He's kind and fair and like a human being. Dutch is something else. This bear was also something else. Size of a goddamn hotel it was, and mean with it. Colm O'Driscoll slipped through our fingers once more, and I saw my own life slip through mine. That gentle buffoon we kidnapped up in the mountains took us to a cabin. We were planning to kill Colm, but he had just gone elsewhere. We shot a bunch of his boys, and one was about to end my life when Kieran shot him. This feud. It's bled out from Dutch and Colm's mutual hatred into a loathing that permeates all of us and all of them. Still, I found quite a shotgun in the cabin. Herr Strauss is back lending money, and I'm back collecting it. The work mostly revolts me and shames me. Somehow, robbing people honestly with a gun and fists is less repellent than robbing them fully in accordance with the law. It'll be the usual sort of desperados, sick farmers, pregnant maids, lovesick young men, and other dupes desperate enough and stupid enough to take Strauss's terms. A usurer's life may be a comfortable one, but it is foul work. Saw Mary again. I feel like the luckiest man alive, and I feel like a fool. That woman confuses me and plays me for a fiddle like no one else alive. Her little brother Jamie had joined some religious order and needed saving, or so she and the god-awful daddy seemed to have thought. I took him home after a pathetic little squabble. Poor boy. Wonder what will become of him. Education and an unpleasant father have been a terrible curse for him, I fear. As for Mary, I trust I will not make a god-awful fool of myself once more, but somehow I imagine I shall. Met Emmett Granger. I cannot think of a single man I have enjoyed seeing dead more than this bastard. Pig shit and hatred, and he still threw a knife at me. Got into some god-awful fight in the town saloon. Bill started it. He's wound so tight about something I reckon he'll start hitting himself soon enough. I was stopped from beating a big yokel to death by a local do-gooder. I could not tell if this made me pleased or real angry. The local crowd seemed to want to see blood, however. Afterwards, Dutch accosted me with old Josiah Trelawney, back and quite as slippery and confusing as ever. He'll come and go again, no doubt, and leave none of us any the wiser as to who or what he is. Trelawney told us that Sean had not been killed in Blackwater, but was a prisoner there, held by scalp hunters awaiting payment. Charles Smith, Javier and I met in Blackwater and rescued that loudmouth maniac. Before we'd even cut him free from the tree, he was mouthing off at us. Javier said Blackwater is an impossible situation, and I guess I had better forget all about that money. All them years wasted earning that stuff. Guess I'll never quite know what happened, but the upshot is, we're on the run, and known to more folks in authority than we would like. I went to call in alone, some farmer, local do-gooder. I think I'd seen him in Valentine before when I was fighting that big fella. He begged and coughed and spluttered, and I beat him half to death. Such is life. Such is the world. His boy looked at me like I was the devil, and perhaps for him, I was. The whole thing confused me. Maybe that's wrong. The whole thing revolted me, my part. These sad, desperate bastards. Their silly expectations of life and their tawdry reality. The unkindness of existence. I can handle that just fine. But I do not love it. Nor those who try to make things otherwise, I guess. Went off drinking with young Lenny. Thanks to my own peculiar genius for trouble when drunk, the evening did not go quite according to plan. But somehow, neither of us got killed or arrested for murder, despite my best efforts in that regard. Somehow I don't imagine that the saloon owner in Valentine likes me very much after the mayhem I have caused there. Hosea and I went robbing, just like in the old days. A father and son pair of clowns at some farmhouse. Stole a wagon, sold it to some rat Hosea had met at some odd place called Emerald Ranch. What goes on there, I cannot tell, but this little purchaser of stolen goods had us go rob his own family. Even by my standards, that was low. But the father and son we robbed was proof that even God makes mistakes sometimes. I snuck in at night, and we robbed the loathsome bastards blind. Met a nice fella taking photos of animals. Albert Mason, I think he was called. Kind and interesting, and entirely lost and unused to real country, even though he seemed to love it. Trying to take pictures of all our biggest predators before they all got killed themselves by the modern world. Should have got him to take a picture of Dutch. He got robbed by a coyote, but I got him his bait back. Black Belle. What a woman. If she was younger and I was in the market for a woman to go killing with, what a pair we could have made. She told me old boy Calloway was a poser and a liar. Big surprise. Guess Billy Midnight never escaped his past. Guy was deranged about shooting some fella in the back or in their sleep or something else very sensible in my opinion. Anyway, guilt had consumed him, so like a real proper gentleman, he tried to kill me. took young Jack out fishing as a favour to Abigail. Many years ago, before she fell so hard for that fool Marston. Perhaps I should have married her. I think part of me has always thought that. Yet, God damn you, Mary. Jack is a good boy, a dreamer, a boy with a mama who loves him. I wonder if he will find what we seek, peace and truth away from all this nonsense and lies. If that is still what we seek, not that that's a new development. Not sure I know myself anymore. Sometimes I'm not sure Dutch does. As we fished, a couple of Pinkerton agents appeared. Milton was one of them. I forget the other fella's name. They knew all about me. That's a new turn of events. Apparently there's 5,000 on my head alone. After Blackwater, or maybe before, it seems we may be in real trouble. I just don't know. Dutch doesn't seem too worried, but I am beginning to have some doubts as to this wisdom in his indifference.